exciting anymore, Give me 1 second. I just, was practicing. I'm pausing my backing track because, there's got to be a better way, right? There's something we could be doing to kind of like improve our practice a little bit. And today that's what we're going to talk about. So this discussion, we should say, today is all about using backing tracks, being effective with them as we practice, and then knowing when, maybe we move on and do something else. And I will start off by saying that, I believe that backing tracks can be a really valuable thing. I'm somebody that makes them. I make educational resources that have backing tracks. This is a very modern thing that a lot of people do these days, is having kind of like a recording setup or something where you're using a program and you're using backing tracks. But today I'm going to talk a little bit about why that might be great up until a point, and then we kind of need to seek out other things. So to get into it, I kind of want to just draw attention to something else, which is kind of like an element of performance, which is ultimately kind of what we're doing here, is we're learning an instrument. And that is the notion of running on a treadmill versus playing like a team sport where there's running involved, such as soccer, football, basketball, any kind of team sport. If we think about the way we play music, using a backing track is kind of the equivalent of running on this musical treadmill, where it's a very kind of defined thing. It's nice and inside, and we can set the pace to whatever we want it to be. And we are technically running or walking or doing whatever we need to do. But if you were to translate the style of running and being able to be part of something that is more athletic, if you're in a team sport, you're making moves, you're responding to everybody, you're taking part in something that is kind of this living, breathing, moving entity. And that really is what music is. So if we want to think about it, backing tracks are kind of the treadmill version of running, as opposed to, playing with a live band or playing even along with a recording that we might get as the kind of like game on athletic mode of playing. So as we practice, backing tracks can be really great. The positive things for backing tracks really come down to the fact that, one, it is a nice contained environment. It's a great way to practice basic skills. So if you are not familiar with the regular 12-bar blues progression, it can be great to play through a 12-bar blues and have it in a certain key and have it be very structured and have it be the same thing over and over again, so that you can start to anticipate when the chord changes happen. That can be a really positive thing. If you are learning how to solo or improvise and you say, man, I just want to practice playing over these 2-5-1 changes or learning this jazz standard, that can also be a really positive way to practice with a backing track, because, before you jump into something that's a little bit more complex, it can be really good to get those reps in this kind of like nice, specifically curated environment. So that can be a really positive thing. On the other hand, you're going to reach a point where you say, man, there's got to be something more. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the more that we get when we move beyond backing tracks. So if you go and you start listening to a record, you're going to notice a few things. One, there's just emotion, there's energy, there's art, there's the real essence of what music is. So when we're playing along with the backing track, that could be made by a single person, it could be an AI thing, whatever it is. That's very different from listening to a living, breathing musical moment that happened and got captured on a recording. So we're missing that emotion, we're missing that energy. Two, we're missing a melody. Most backing tracks don't have melody. Hearing a melody, listening to lyrics, understanding how the melody line works and where it may imply chord changes is a hugely important part of music. You might get to the point where you can hear a melody and hear what chord comes next just by following it, but you're not going to get that information if you're just playing along with a backing track. So number one, we're missing the emotion, we're missing the art. Number two, we're missing the melody. That's huge. We need the melody. Number three, we're missing the rest of the ensemble. Most backing tracks are kind of just like keys, bass, drums, or guitar. We're missing kind of like a 5-piece band, we're missing horns, we're missing all these other things. And that's really important, because as a bass player, we're accompanying the music. We're accompanying everything that's happening. And if we don't hear who's occupying space or where we have space to occupy, we're not going to develop some of those important skills that are based upon taste and understanding and musical arranging. So it's really important to listen to records to hear how just a band sounds and to hear the space within the music and what you can fill versus what spaces other instruments are filling. So we've got a lot of things. We've got the emotion, the art. We have the melody. We have the rest of the ensemble. Another important thing is the bass player. We're missing out on listening to the bass player that is helping us learn how to play. So if you're just playing along with the backing track and you're not listening to maybe a real version of a particular song and you're missing out on what the bass player is doing, go listen to that track and hear what is being played. As much as I respect Paul McCartney, my favorite thing to do is just listen to him so that I can try to cop some of those licks. If I'm playing along with a backing track to a Beatles song, I'm missing all the things Paul's doing. So having that information can be really crucial. And then finally, the other thing is that you're missing the overall arrangement of a song. Most backing tracks are just kind of like set things, just the 12-bar blues, just the chart of a jazz standard. You're missing, different sections of a song, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, bridge, solo sections, all of those things. So a lot of times backing tracks won't include the full arrangement of a song. When you get into blues stuff, you might be missing stops and tags at the end or breaks and solos, all kinds of things like that. So just be mindful that as you go and practice, backing tracks can be awesome up until a point. But then when you get off that treadmill and you jump in with a real band, or even you just play along with records, you'll find yourself in a world of greater musicality, better understanding. There's going to be so much more information to take in, and that can be a really important thing to develop your musical sensibilities. So I'm going to get back to the shed. I'm going to turn this backing track on, maybe play along to a B.B. King record, jam with those guys, and I hope that you're able to do the same. So keep it groovy, everybody. Happy practicing. Catch you next time.